Good afternoon, Lakewood Leopard Riders. This is Helwig here, day 2 of Writer's Workshop this week. Yesterday I taught you that personal narrative writers can make lists to come up with ideas of seeds from their own life that they might want to grow into a watermelon of a story, right? So some of the lists that I had made, if you remember, were like and I know this is going to be backwards right now, I'll turn it around in a minute, but the people, places, and things, events, or the first and last times. What I wanted to show you is yesterday, after I got done teaching you, I started writing a little bit, like how I challenged you guys to make your lists and then pick a couple of those things or one of those things and write at least a page a day, right, as writers. And so I picked, I picked the first time that I saw a face mask in the U.S. So I'm going to flip this around. So, I had made a list of just from the events. I then broke that down into spring break when my family and I went to Florida. Some of the different things, like the long drive there, the first time we got to the house, the first time we walked in the ocean, the first time seeing a face mask in the U.S. And then I just kind of wrote longer about, like a page about that time when we saw the face mask, okay? But today what I want to teach you is that writers of personal narrative, they can use those lists, okay, all those seed moments that they've listed, and then they can pick just one of those seeds that they can write longer about, and maybe that seed then, or maybe a different one, is the one that you then decide to use a story mountain or a timeline. I used a story mountain to go ahead and plan out your story, okay? So what I want to teach you today is that writers of personal narrative pick one seed moment and then they write long about that. And first, in order to do that, they have to make a plan, and they do this by using structures or tools like a timeline or a story mountain to then tell their story longer, okay? The interesting thing, I'm going to flip this around. You guys might be like me, that sometimes you start out, like I started out my story mountain with like a beginning, middle, and end, and I was thinking about, how stories usually go, how they have like their climax in the middle, and then, or maybe sometimes closer to the end, and then at the end, like the resolution. And I didn't feel like seeing the face mask, like my writing that I did yesterday, and I can read it to you. But I didn't feel like that really had like a resolution, because what I realized is that this story of the coronavirus is not over, and so it's kind of difficult for me to just wrap it up and put a bow on it. But I don't think that means that we need to not write that story. I think that the stories that each of us are living right now, and the fact that we are living through history, guys, we are living through a worldwide pandemic. And I was a part of this chat. It was like a Zoom chat over spring break with other leaders from around the country, but just how important it is for you to also maybe write like your own journal, like keep a journal every day of what life is like living through a pandemic, almost like a pandemic journal. And so when I tried to just wrap this up into a nice little personal narrative, it didn't fit into that, but I'll read you what I wrote, and then I'll tell you kind of how I used what I wrote, because when you think you're done, you've only just begun. As a writer, that's always true. Like, what's most important is that you write a page every day, and then we can decide how we want to take bits and pieces of what we wrote and grow it into a watermelon of a story, of a personal narrative, okay? So yesterday, and I'll read this to you, but I'll also... What I wrote was the first time we saw a mask from the coronavirus in Florida, in the United States. So I said, news of this virus, this COVID-19 disease it causes, continued to circulate on the news. We had prepared for e-learning just in case before leaving school the day before spring break. A contingency plan, they called it. My family and I decided that day to forego our original plan of flying to Florida and staying at a resort. It's not as fancy as that sounds, so that's why I put quotation marks there, but near other people, to drive and rent a house so that we could stay in, cook our own meals, and avoid people while still enjoying a vacation together. We had never driven this far with our kids and did have to stay in a hotel on the way there. I wiped everything off with Clorox wipes when we arrived, and we used a lot of Germ-X and hand washing. But then, once we finally arrived at the house we had rented, we had to go to the grocery store. We had bought a lot of food and supplies, but there were still a few things missing. We had brought a lot of food and supplies. After we quickly made our way around the store, grabbing our essentials, we walked out to head home. In walked a new family a few feet away. They were wearing face masks. Haven didn't say anything, thankfully, until we got to our car. "Mommy, do they have the coronavirus?" she asked, worriedly. "I don't know, honey. I don't think so, or I think they would be quarantined at home," I replied. "Oh," she said slowly. "So we're okay." "Yes, they're probably just being careful not to get it," I reassured her. But as we got in our car, used more Germ-X, and drove away, I couldn't help but feel that this virus was quickly moving closer and closer to home. Okay, so boys and girls, today, when I was going to teach you how to take that seed moment and turn it into a story mountain to plan your story, I was like, struggling, right? And maybe this has happened to you guys. Like, I started to make my story mountain, but what you'll notice, and I'll flip it around in a minute to go over it with you, is that like there's a ton of stuff after the middle going towards the end. And the beginning, it's like maybe I didn't space things out so good, but you know what? That's okay. Who cares, right? When authors publish books, you don't see the story mountain that's all messy published with their book. There's a reason for that, right? So I'll kind of show you my thinking around my story mountain. And remember, when we're drafting as writers, the most important thing is that we write a page a day. And I wrote 2 pages yesterday, and then drafted this, and I'll continue writing to try to build my story. But it's not going to be done until I've worked on it for a while, right? Okay, so here I tried to start it out with like the new, and this is also not 20 minutes or even one day, so I broke my rule on that, but I'll have to decide how I can take just maybe a part of this and pull it out to make a story. But sometimes personal narratives do last a little bit longer, and this still is about probably 2 days worth of stuff. So home in Kansas City, we keep hearing the news. We're debating whether to even go on our trip. And what I did is up on the top, I put the actions, like things that happen in the story, like the storyline, but on the bottom I put like how I was feeling about it, because essentially I'm the main character. Me and my family are the main characters of our story. If it's a personal narrative, I'm the main character, right? So I was nervous when I was seeing this news, but it really wasn't a whole lot in Missouri yet, and there really wasn't that much in Florida. There were more in Florida than in Missouri, but not that much people that had the coronavirus. So we decided to still go, but we changed the plans. We said we're not going to fly on an airplane, and we packed really fast and left that night, the day that we got out of school for spring break. It's not the night we were going to leave, but we thought maybe if we drove at night, the kids would sleep and it would make it easier to drive. So we're driving, and we still don't even know where we're staying. We don't know where we're going to stay when we get to Florida, because now we're not staying the place we originally decided to stay. And I'm feeling super anxious because I don't want to stay in a hotel, and I don't want to get germs, and now we're in the middle of nowhere, and it's 2 a.m. So we drive more. And I know we're going to need to stay in a hotel because we're getting really tired, and it looks like there's not going to be another hotel till like 6 a.m. And I'm thinking there's no way that we can drive all night this night. So we stay in the middle of nowhere. It's like the very bottom of Missouri. And I feel a little bit better because there's not a lot of people around. So I feel like, okay, as long as I clean up the hotel room with like Clorox wipes and we wash our hands and stuff a lot, we'll probably be okay. So the kids were getting, so then let's see. We find a house to rent when we drive the next day, but we still can't go to it until Sunday, they said. And so we get to Destin around 8 p.m. The kids were getting kind of grouchy after dinner right before that. We have to stay in another hotel, and this time this one's kind of dirty, and this is because we couldn't go to our house till Sunday that we rented. And then I'm feeling really anxious, like wiping everything with Clorox wipes. In the middle of the night, Hayes wakes up and he has a fever, so then I'm afraid he has the virus. And I'm scared. The Tylenol helps. We get to the house that next day, and my husband takes Hayes to the urgent care place. They say he doesn't have the virus, so then I'm starting to feel better, and I know we're just going to stay away from people anyway, so as long as his fever's going down and stuff, then I think we're good, and he probably won't give it to anyone if he did have it, but they didn't think he did. So we go to the grocery store, and it's when we got to the grocery store that even though I felt better, that okay, now we can just stay in this house and avoid all people, no hotels, I'll clean it up and we'll be safe. When I saw the people with the face masks, I thought, okay, I still have this underlying feeling that this is going to get worse. And that scared me. Okay? All right, so boys and girls, today, what I've shown you and what I want you to work on, what I hopefully have taught you, is that writers of personal narrative, they take their lists of people, places, things, events, and then first and last. And they pick a seed on there that they think, okay, this is like a meaningful moment to me. You could even grow some of those, like that event. I took just that one event and jotted down a lot of seeds, which my timeline ended up covering a couple of different seeds there, but I'm still trying to figure out which part of this can be my personal narrative, and that's okay. Sometimes you just gotta like write a lot before you find the part that's the good part, right? So then what I wanted to teach you is that then personal narrative writers plan their stories, and they do this by using either a timeline, which would just be straight. This is essentially a timeline with a bump, right? Or the story mountain, which a lot of you are more familiar with because we use that in reading too. And when I jotted my story mountain, I tried to think about the events that happened, but also how was I feeling? How was the main character feeling throughout that? So today, and every day as a writer, when you plan your personal narrative stories, I want you to do that by using either a timeline or a story mountain, and that's what I want you to work on today. So when you submit your work today, I want to see a picture of your story mountain, and what would be really cool is not just a picture, but if you could maybe story tell and tell me that story that I just told you in a video. So work on your story mountain. And make sure you wrote like at least a page or two yesterday about one of those so that you kind of have some thoughts down on paper. But then go ahead and write your story mountain and then tell me about it, okay? And it's okay if you're not quite done or you don't have it quite figured out yet, because that's what happens when you're writing. Sometimes learning is messy, right? All right, I can't wait to see your plan, and I can't wait to hear your stories.